Hello everyone, I'm Vivek Atray and joining me today are Rajaraman and VRV Singh. And we are going to be talking cricket. We are going to be talking on behalf of Playwright Conversations. And this is the first time we are live in 2022 and that too on Republic Day. So happy Republic Day to you all. Happy Republic Day, VRV. How are you? VRV, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Happy
Yes.
Republic Day, sir. Raja, sir, how are you? Happy Republic Day.
Thank you so much, VRV. Good to see you as always. And thank you, Vivek, for having us. What better day to do the first show of 2022 than Republic Day?
Absolutely, absolutely. India's might is being showcased today, and India is moving forward. I recently had an interview on India itself, which I will share with you all and hopefully with everyone else later. But here we are going to talk about cricket and the mauling and beyond. So basically, in South Africa, we were totally slaughtered, I could say, except for the first Test match when we won by 113 runs, and we were looking very good, but everything went. As they say in Hindi, titar bitar, bikhar gaya sab kuch. So let's hope that we can learn from this series and put things together. The test series was bad and the one day series was worse. So lots to talk about. Captaincy, batting, bowling, strategy, fielding, and playing abroad has been India's pride in recent decades or recent years at least, and we have done well normally. So this mauling, this slaughter is going to affect us for some time to come. We need to learn quickly. So quick thoughts, Raja Ramanji, before we get into details.
Very disappointing. I won't say I was angry, but I was very disappointed with the lack of spine. You wanted to see fight in this Indian side. This side, this team has been known to go overseas and play very, very competitive cricket. And as Virat Kohli pointed out some time ago, this team, there was a time where the team used to hesitate when playing overseas, but now people were afraid of playing this side. And for that team to come back after five successive defeats was disappointing to say the least. Could have been a lot better. You wanted them to be competitive. I don't see any reason why teams should only be winning all the time. Defeat is part of life. You have to accept it. But you want to see fight, and I didn't see that in this Indian side.
I totally agree. In fact, in Australia as well, when we were 36 all out, and then we bounced back so creditably in Melbourne, and then we drew the match in Sydney so bravely, and then we won in the Gabba. So basically, we turned around everything in Australia. We played superbly well in England to lead the series 2-1, and it is a series which is 1 year long. So the last Test match will be played in July this year. But we were known to fight and we didn't fight. So what went wrong this time? Was it also the change of captaincy in the middle? I mean, one Test match, Rahul captained, and 3 1 days he captained. Was that also a factor? What are your views?
See, I will not say mostly because of the captaincy, because execution of players by themselves is more important than, definitely Virat captaincy is different kind of, when he goes to the ground, and KL is very new to this thing. But I personally feel that execution of some things like decision making, especially in second and third test matches, small decision making during the test match was not there. Definitely KL is not, very new to the captaincy. And even I will say KL is just started to perform in the international arena from last 2 years only, and where Virat has been doing well from last 10 years. So personally, I feel decision making on the crucial moments. Plus, I will talk about 3 1 days also. What happened to in 3 1 days also is collapse of middle order. You know, definitely in modern day cricket, 290 300 is a chaseable target in any sort of wicket. But where Shikhar got out 2 times after completing 50, even Kohli also, they should have done better than that. Could have taken to the 100 or more than 100 runs. But I personally feel either it's Surya, either it's Shreyas Iyer, or other middle order batsmen who are just started playing for India. They need to take more responsibility. They need to take these kind of responsibility to make their career longer from here and better from here. And I will talk about little bit about bowling also. You have seen Shardul and Deepak Chahar. These are the two guys you can use them very well in the overseas conditions, because these both guys can be a third bowling option, and they can bat also in 6 or 7 number batting position, because we see in Chahar even Shardul contributed well even in Test series also. Plus one mindset personally I feel needs to be there, that you have to have you can't say कि if you're playing in South Africa you can't play two spinners. You know, you have to go with that. If you don't have good all-rounding or all-rounder options, if you don't have Hardik Pandya, you can't wait for Hardik Pandya all the time. He's been injured since last 1 year. So now you have to think beyond that. Who are the
Yes.
best options? You think if Chahar is best, go with him. Give him good 6 months run. Give him at least 10, 15 matches. Then he will perform in the bigger stage like World Cup. And even
Yes.
if Jadeja is not fit, why not Akshar Patel? He has been doing very well in Test matches in IPL. The minimum chances he got, he has been doing very well. So I personally feel wherever you play in the world, if the player is good, he can utilize any conditions. Like we talk about fast bowlers doing well in swimming conditions, but they also do well in flat wickets in India and Sri Lanka. So same goes with spinners. If spinner is good, he can utilize any condition. Either it's Melbourne, either it's Jharkhand.
Right, right. VRV, very well said. You have actually had it's like the first spell from an opening fast bowler, very incisive, very
Yeah.
difficult for any batsman to face. But I'm going to pose a flighted one to Raja Ramanji, because it's very important that we discuss the captaincy a little more. You see, the test captaincy was with Virat Kohli, and Rahane was the vice captain. And in Australia, in England, and in India as well. In India, recently, New Zealand, Virat opted out of the first test, and Rahane captained them, although we couldn't win that match because New Zealand held on. And then Virat returned and they won the match easily. But Rahane was in the team. What was the hurry to change the vice captaincy on the South Africa tour? And if it was to be Rohit, then it was different. When Rohit was injured, was it necessary to give it to Rahul at this stage when Rahul, as VRV rightly says, is still, I mean, 1 or 2 years earlier, he was not even in the side before England in the test team. So, was that a blooper? Could they have continued with Rahane while he was playing? And if he was not in form and was to be dropped because his form has been dipping, then the vice captain can be dropped and somebody else can be made a vice captain for one match. What do you think about that, Rajaraman?
Vivek, if it was that classic VRV outswinger, I would have left it alone. While outside the off stump, I would have said, I don't have anything to say. But since you bowled a flighted one, I've got to play it. I can't leave it, right? So
Yeah.
let me try. Uh, I think the selectors goofed up, and I'm using the word very deliberately, in naming Rohit Sharma captain of the one day side at the same time as they announced the test team to South Africa. They had not announced the one day team at all. The job then was to announce the team for the test matches. The team for the one dayers was going to be announced much later, and they were in a rush to show Virat Kohli his place. Perhaps they had their orders. Perhaps Saurav Ganguly, the board president, wanted them to do it this way. So they went ahead and removed Virat Kohli as captain of the one day team. And because Rohit was already going to be captain of the one day team, they said, okay, let's make him vice captain of the test team. Without knowing his level of fitness, without knowing whether he was fit enough to be on the team or not. That is where they goofed up. They should not have been in a hurry to make all these personnel changes. But I somehow feel that the selectors were forced to do this. Left to themselves, they might have done their homework, they might have researched a bit more about players' fitness, and then only made the decision to make changes in captaincy and vice captaincy. I think they were in a hurry. If they had not been in such a hurry, Virat might have continued being captain on this tour because Rohit is not available. He might have continued being captain of the one day side on this tour as well. And if India had lost 3-0 there with Virat as captain, good reason for them to remove him. Uh, they were in a rush, they were in a tearing hurry to put Virat Kohli in place, and I think that was unfair. They should have shown him the respect that he deserves. But maybe he asked for some trouble himself by being irreverential to the board president at a certain point of time when he did the press conference. Now, all of this came together at a very bad time for Indian cricket. And just when everybody was thinking that India would do well in the Test series, would compete in South Africa as well, and then conquer that last frontier, because India had won in England, won in Australia, uh, has beaten West Indies and everybody else. Of course, New Zealand is difficult as well, but South Africa was seen as a difficult frontier to cross. This was a great opportunity, especially after winning that first Test match. But somewhere, all these decisions came to bite the Indian side. And I also think that we should not overlook the fact, Vivek, that we also had a change in guard with the coaching staff. With Rahul Dravid coming in, there seemed to have been some kind of what shall I say, a boiling over of emotions in the dressing room. And there seemed to have been some differences of opinion as well, which prompted Virat to announce that he would not lead India in test matches also anymore. Now, you don't want a dressing room with so much volatile emotion. You want calm in the dressing room. You want more care. You want more attention to what needs to be done. That seemed missing, and that's probably why India lost those 5 matches in a row.
I think you played the flighted ball so well, you hit it straight over the side screen for six. And nowadays, there's
No,
even
I'm very happy to be caught and bowled, Vivek. I'm very happy to be caught and bowled.
mainly nowadays there's a talk of 8 runs also. If it goes beyond the 100 meter or 90 meters, it will be 8 runs. So you get 8 runs for that, Rajaramanji. But before I pass on to VRV with a bowling question, I'm going to comment also on Virat Kohli's leadership. I think he's a very exciting leader. There is no doubt that he has brought energy, he has brought aggression, he has brought confidence into the Indian team. His record is the fourth best in world cricket ever. Winning 40 test matches is no joke. And taking over from Dhoni, we did not feel the pinch that much because India kept winning. In fact, his test record is better than Dhoni's abroad, definitely. And that leadership gap was not there. Now India has a situation where Rohit has already captained India a little bit in one days or 2020, and where we have had four captains in the last 1 year also. And Rahul is just still learning the ropes. So in all formats, we have had too many captains. We have a change of guard in the coaching. We have tensions between the board and Kohli. But I think Kohli, yes, a little bit, perhaps he stood his ground and he was a little strong in whatever he did, and the board did not like it, and it was done in haste. As regards the selection, I think there are so many things that the team could have done better. But let's see VRV's comment on what I'm going to ask him now. VRV, we could not bowl South Africa out on the second in the second test, in the third test. We probably lost the battle of the second innings in batting as well as bowling. We did not put enough runs on the board. Pant scored a century in the third one, and in the second one, I think it was who played well. Somebody put runs on the board, but Peterson was able to play our bowling with ease. In the one days, we could not contain the batsman either. What went wrong with our bowling, which is supposed to be so incisive?
First of all, both ODIs and Test bowling lineup is totally different. Beside Ashwin, there are bowlers are always changing. But I personally also feel Bumrah and Shami definitely bowled to their potential. Definitely, Shardul took 7 wickets in Johannesburg also. But I personally feel that Peterson, the knock he played, especially in Cape Town, that actually he survived, but he has been lucky also during the game. The morning spell when Shami was bowling and Bumrah even was bowling, they were bowling very good line and lengths, and especially in Cape Town, you need to do that only because your surface is a lot of conducive for the fast bowlers. Personally, I feel bowler has been good overall. Maybe Siraj has got injured and he did what we expected, but overall, I personally feel bowlers were good. But one thing I want to say, Ashwin needed to, especially in the second innings, when it comes to the second innings, he need to, bowl little better than that, because in the past we have seen Harbhajan Singh, Anil Kumble, especially in Australia, they have been done really well even in the overseas. Personally, I felt Ashwin could have been little more better. He has been 400 plus test wicket bowler. I personally felt he was little bit lacking over there. Maybe, wickets were not there. Maybe his rhythm was not there. But we expected him to especially get wickets in the second innings, because I personally feel Shami and Bumrah were bowling most of the bowling during the games. But I personally wish Ashwin could have done more better. And Shardul is very exciting talent, because I have seen him bowling 135-40 in the Ranji games. I played against him. He is not
Oh,
bowling 100, more than 130. He must have took 7 wickets. Definitely Johannesburg, he bowled really well. But I personally feel if he adds still 4 or 5 kilometers into the pace, he will be a third bowling option to India, not fourth bowling option. Because I have seen him doing very well in Ranji Trophy on flat wickets. Maybe after his groin injury, I think he had a groin surgery on his groin. I personally feel if he work hard going to the another overseas tour, he can be very conducive, very effective going to the matches. But Ashwin or Jadeja, now the testing bowling, testing bowling have two another option, Ashwin or Jadeja. If you ask me, I will go with Jadeja because Jadeja gives you that control during the bowling. And Ashwin, definitely so much respect to him for under 30-35 wickets. But I personally feel when Ashwin goes to the overseas, he needs to get wickets for India. Then fast bowlers, they do their job much better than that. And
yes.
fourth option, a Siraj. I will talk about him. Now Siraj has been seen by all the countries. Now he has to be more fitter, and he has to learn a little bit more about bowling because I personally feel he runs very fast in the run up, but he tries to bowl same ball all the time. But to be more successful at this arena, you need to be little fitter than that. More, three test match series. You have to plan your match every time. So I personally feel Shardul, Siraj, very exciting. And one more thing we have to think about it from after this series where Ishan Sharma is going. After playing 100 test matches, you're sitting out and you have to think about it. You're not in your first five fast bowlers. So team management has also have this thing to sort out because I personally feel if someone has played 100 test matches sitting out of the sitting on the bench, so you rather take some youngster and groom him there if your 100 test match bowler is not playing.
Well said, VRV. That was very fluent as well. Well, very well analyzed indeed. I'm going to jump to South Africa for a bit until before I come back to Rishabh Pant and other players from the Indian team. Rajaramanji, if you look at the South African batting, I mean, Dean Elgar is a rock solid player and he doesn't look very elegant. Perhaps reminds us of Graham Smith, but not as powerful as Smith also. Somehow he delivers the goods. In the second test, definitely, even in the third test, his opening partnership was enough. He made about 30 runs, I guess. And then that incident of DRS also took place. You look at Peterson, you look at Rassi Wanderson, and you look at these people, how well they adapted to the demands of a pressure situation where they were not expected to win. The Indians were the favorites, they had won the first test. And Tenda Bavuma, another gritty, street fighting kind of batsman. So just analyze the South African performance for us.
But I think it was Dean Elgar all the way. To my mind, if there was one batting performance that changed the course of the Test series, it was Dean Elgar. The manner in which he batted against the Indians, he took some hits on the body, had enormous amounts of patience. I don't know where he got that from, but he had enormous amounts of patience, played out just about everything that the Indians were throwing at him. And the Indians tried very hard. Of course, you remove Siraj from the equation because after bowling just a few overs, he hobbled away. And I think it was unfair that the Indian team had to go with one bowler less when they were playing someone like Dean Elgar, who was intent on just staying at the wicket, ensuring that India would not get easy pickings. I think he stood between India and the series victory. That one innings was defining. It reminded me of what Cheteshwar Pujara did in Australia. It reminded me of how even Hanuma Vihari batted with an injury along with Ashwin. So that kind of grit we got to see from an overseas batsman and he was captain of the side. And when the captain is playing like this, everyone else is motivated. So what you got to see with Peterson, what you got to see with Bauma, who's also a leader in his own right, is a natural corollary of what the captain did. I think the captain was phenomenal, and that one innings really made the South Africans believe in themselves. They had been mauled in that first Test match, and it was a pretty easy cakewalk for the Indian side in that first Test match. But for that side to bounce back, you needed a captain, you needed a leader to stand up and say, "Okay, I'm going to lead the fight," and he did a terrific job of that. We watched that movie. Invictus, where Nelson Mandela is inspiring the South African rugby team to win the World Cup, and how the captain then stands up and delivers for the side. And we got to see exactly that. My mind went back to Invictus. My mind went back to Mandela and his inspirational stuff that helped the South African rugby team. They're still called Springboks. How they went on to win the World Cup at home. I think it is phenomenal. What Dean Elgar did was terrific, and everyone else rallied around the captain. And I think it was brilliant to watch. Not
Absolutely.
from an Indian perspective, it hurt that Indian bowlers did not do well. I just have one thing to add to what VRV said about Ashwin. I believe that the captain must give him the kind of confidence. uh, Ashwin is actually his own man. That's the impression you get. I could be completely wrong, Vivek. But Ashwin likes to bowl early on. He likes to bowl with the new ball. He likes to come in early and be involved. When you bring him on after about 40 overs or 45 overs, when the batsman is set, it gets a bit of a tricky task for a spinner to come in and start doing something. We got to understand Ashwin's mindset. I'm not saying that he was at his best. He could definitely improve, as VRV pointed out. But somehow I think we have not handled Ashwin well. He's a maverick. And I think we need to understand where he comes from and how best to use him. And I think India missed a trick there. This is where you expect Rahul Dravid to step up, to work in tandem with the captain, whether it was KL Rahul in that second test match or Virat Kohli in the third test match. You wanted Paras Mamre, the bowling coach, and the chief coach, Rahul Dravid, to give the captain, whoever it was, critical input so that they drew the best out of Ashwin, not just as a defensive bowler to stop the flow of runs, but also to try and take wickets, be an attacking spin bowler even in overseas conditions.
I think you analyzed the South African lineup led by Dean Elgar and Ashwin very well. I'll make a quick point on Ashwin before I take up a very controversial issue myself. I think Ashwin should have played in England, and he had more chance of getting wickets in England. Why he was left out, we could not fathom in all those 5 test matches that we played. And in fact, in the test match, he did play the Test Championship final. Again, he took 2 wickets in the second innings and was taken off. I mean, I can't understand why, as you rightly say, I mean, Ashwin should be given that confidence, not coming on as the fifth bowler and brought in early. But he was below par in South Africa, given
No
all
doubt
that,
about that.
in the one days as well as in the tests, and we expected more from him. But just to touch upon a controversial matter, I think that DRS mic talking kind of behavior that the Indian team did, I don't think Ashwin, Kohli, or Rahul, being senior players, captains also involved, we should not have done that. And decisions go against many a time. I think on the whole, what really showed the tension of the field showed up in this kind of conduct on the field. Not so much in the game. The batsmen played their best, the bowlers did their best, I'm sure. It was not in the game that that tension showed. It was in the conduct and behavior. And the way people were also heard swearing on the stump mic later in the Punjabi and Hindi, which Indians understand very well, and somebody like Tenda Babuma, who was being swore at, would not understand. Doesn't really give the right inspiration to the youth of India, the young players. The under 19s are playing the ICC World Cup right now. That the captain of India and senior players are behaving like this, so I think we should be better role models. And I just wanted to add that point on my own self. But I want to come to VRV now with the fact that Rishabh Pant is such a player that we have in the middle, and I want to talk about him a little because you see, India is playing 5 bowlers because of Rishabh Pant. Otherwise, abroad, we would play the wicket keeper at number 7 and play 4 bowlers. You know it. In the past, it used to be like that. Kohli has been confident that we can play 5 bowlers even without Pant earlier, I think. But now that Pant is there, it is said that he plays too soon, the aggressive shot. How does he manage his career going forward so that he can become like Adam Gilchrist, one of the greats of the game? Because we know that he has the temperament. Can he temper himself a little bit, control himself a little bit, 10% perhaps, and not go after the first ball he faces or the first few balls? Can he play these brilliant innings in future as well? VRV?
No, definitely, you are absolutely right. He needs to have that patience. You have to give that respect, especially in the test matches. You have to respect the bowler. You're bowling. You're playing in South Africa under the fast bowling conditions, and Rabada and other bowlers, Nagiri, they are very good at their own conditions. So you have to respect that, and you also have to see the condition of the situation of the match. At what point he's going to the crease. If other side, like Rohit is sorry, Virat is batting, Pujara is batting, Rahane is batting. You need to be there with them. Because if India is going to win test matches overseas, actually he has done very well in the past. Like we won the game in the Australia, he scored 100 in South Africa. Even he done well in England. But we need more consistency from him. And he has that because once he is settled in the pitch, he can take the game away. But comparing to Gilchrist, it's so soon, I personally feel, because he needs to prove more here in the middle. And I personally feel he has a lot of potential, but he needs to read the situation more often because I personally feel when the bowler is in a good rhythm, he's also he just took a wicket and just going into the into the wicket, and you just can't play first ball or second ball that sort of shot, and that's put a lot of pressure on the lower middle order because after that there is kind of all rounders or bowlers are only left. So we need more of patience, I will say, and he needs to respect the conditions. Plus other thing is कि मेरे को लगता है कि he needs to be that much aggressive, especially in the first 10 balls. And he will take another 10, 15, 20 balls. Just take your time. And, after that, in a test cricket, once wicket will get easy. You have seen, when he scored 100 in Cape Town, what happened? He took little bit of time initially. So later on, he scored 100 and, team other side batsmen were struggling, but he was actually dominating them. So he's a kind of batsman, he can dominate any time. But where just Rajaraman sir said one thing, staff, batting coach, head coach needs to talk to him. Have just need to realize that what kind of potential you have, and especially we are going with five bowlers. Because we are believing in you, you can do very well as a fifth or sixth batsman. So maybe here management roles comes more important also, and captain roles also. So make him realize that these are our requirements, and these things we want you to do for the team. So plus he's a wicket keeper, he's batting in the crucial situation. And plus, like Dhoni, what Dhoni did, he was very sensible. He knew then after him only all rounders or lower middle order is coming. So he was very careful about his shots. So I personally feel he still has a young career, and personally I feel he has that leadership qualities also, because when he captains Delhi Capital, you can see that he plays with a lot of responsibility. Those kind of he needs to, maybe team management needs to give more important roles, so keep to in every game. And he has a potential, but I don't think at this point of time the what kind of shots he's playing anyone is liking, even in the one day matches, because he needs to do what he has been doing from last 2 3 years. But with the time grows, so he needs to learn more things.
VRV, you have become like a seasoned bowler. You have become a seasoned analyst and commentator now. Wonderfully well analyzed, Rishabh Pant. I totally, totally agree with you. I'll only add one quick point. Dhoni said in one interview that Chappell, or we must give credit to Chappell also, if that is where the credit lies. He told him in the first 16 balls in one days, you should be 16 not out. Single, 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 16 of 16, 100% strike rate. He said, before I started hitting big, I would play. And Dhoni, of course, later in his career started hitting much later, coming closer to the target, and he was very successful also. But I'm going to now, Raja Ramanji, with a very important point. We already discussed Jadeja briefly. We missed Rohit Sharma. Now, Rohit Sharma, he has 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to go. Perhaps he's 34 now, and not as fit as he used to be, but as brilliant as ever. In Australia and England, I felt that one of the keys to our doing well, especially when he joined the Australian tour, was the opening partnerships. Often the opening partnership crossed 50. Often he crossed 50. Even got 100 in England finally, which was really, he was playing against his grain, leaving the ball amazingly well. Rahul and he gelled well in England. So when he comes back to the team, what is his factor going to be like as an X factor in the opening slot, and his captaincy role? Perhaps he also gets the test captaincy. What is your analysis of Rohit at this stage of Indian cricket?
Vivek, before I speak about Rohit Sharma, I'll just take 1 minute to discuss
Sure.
Rishabh Pant. We all love him, don't we?
We love him.
Uh, we want him to score not one brilliant 100 in 10 innings. We want him to score six good knocks in 10 innings, right? And that consistency is what VRV is talking about. If India lost that second test match, I hope someday he sits up in the dead of the night and he realizes that his one shot cost India that match, the second test match. He could have won it for India. He did not. And unfortunately for him, he's missed out on the captaincy stakes because of that. He would have been a leader, as VRV pointed out. He would have been a leading candidate for captaincy's job, especially when uh, Virat has quit the test captaincy as well. He's one who is playing all three formats for sure. He would have been a leading candidate for captaincy. Someday he's going to regret these shots, and hopefully he'll come back a mature batsman and play with more responsibility than just say that this is my style and this is how I'm going to play my cricket. Now, to get to Rohit Sharma, I don't think he was missed too much in the test matches. I'll be very honest, because Mayank and Rahul gave you good opening stand. There were good partnership. There was a century stand to begin with, and then India lost it because I think the critical thing was Virat Kohli not being in the pink of form, getting out to the ball outside the off stump. That was crucial. The persistence with the two batsmen who were not scoring the most runs, Pujara and Rahane, I think that also cost India a little bit. You had Hanuma Vihari waiting in the wings. You had Shreyas Iyer waiting in the wings. I think sooner than later, you need to make these tough calls and say that one of the two will not play in test matches for us, at least until they find runs in domestic cricket, whenever that is going to be organized. Go find runs elsewhere, then come back into the test side if there is an opportunity. The batting let the side down, and it was not as if Rohit's presence would have made a big difference in the test matches. But yes, in the one days, Rohit might have been a massive factor, especially his captaincy, because Rahul, he did not seem like he was holding that job really well. To my mind, I could be wrong, but I really believe that his captaincy was missed more than his batting. Rohit is somebody who could have made a difference in the one day side. When he comes back, and I'm sure he's going to be named captain, even as we are talking, the selectors are meeting in the NCA in Bengaluru. They will probably name him captain of the test side as well. Whenever we are going to play the next test matches, which will be against Sri Lanka, I think. Whenever it is held, Rohit will be captain, and obviously he's going to open with KL Rahul. Mayank will miss out. He's going to make a difference. He's got a great chance to show that. People like me talk about how his 5 victories in IPL are in the T20 format. I'm sure he'll be keen to prove someone like me wrong by remaining fit, by playing all the matches in all three formats, and then doing a good job until the 2023 World Cup in India at least.
Yes,
One
absolutely.
one
We
thing,
have to
sir.
go ahead.
Yeah, one thing, absolutely right. Even it is in my mind what Raja sir said. Fitness is going to be very key, and it's a must. The Virat, which he actually set the standards from last 6-7 years, and it's need to be continued. अभी यहाँ से अगर better होगा, that's going to be key for Indian cricket now, because and now Rohit has to be leading from the front. Because as Raja sir said, three formats, IPL plus IPL, you need to be very super fit and you have to work day in and day out. I know Rohit will definitely do it, but with Virat standards, what he already had said, you have to go more forward from here.
That will be a dream come true, Vivek. If he plays all three formats, lead the team over the next 2 years, and he remains superly fit, I think that will be a dream come true. One of the greatest joys for us sports writers is to be proven wrong by these champion cricketers and champion athletes. I'm hoping that Rohit Sharma will prove me wrong and remain fit from today till the 2023 World Cup final, which India should win in India, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, the thing is that all of us basically dearly love Indian cricket. whether we are writing analytically, talking analytically. We want the best. We want them to do outstandingly well. Where are we going forward? You see, in this South African tour, we can say Rohit and Jadeja were missing, but they can also say Quinton de Kock and Noche were missing. And even in the one days, Rabada was not there. So we have no excuses. But going forward, this year we have to play England in England, one test match and some one days, etc. We have visiting sides like Sri Lanka coming here. I think later in the year, of course, the T20 World Cup is also there. So going forward, what does India need to do? What is the strategy for the test series? And what is the strategy for the shorter format? How should we approach the rest of the year? It's a large question, but broadly Indian cricket.
See one thing, so you just said like a few minutes back. See, we have a coach change, and we are going to have a different captain, and definitely everyone has a different mindset, and the little bit of different mindset will come into the team now. Only thing which I personally feel, for the shorter format, you need to sort out your sixth bowling option, and especially if we talk about T20 World Cup, which held in Dubai, and what was happening, we didn't have sixth bowling option, so we were just relying that today, आज हार्दिक पांड्या fit होगा, आज हार्दिक पांड्या fit होगा, we were just thinking like that, as a you just said. And so we need to sort out that problem. We, like earlier, we used to have Sehwag, UV, and two three other guys like Raina and other guys. You had that 10 overs quota, which आपको पता था ये 10 ओवर डाल देंगे तीन चार लोग, but now you have to fulfill those in T20, that 4 overs, and another, like in one day cricket, you have to have those two three guys who can bowl another 10 overs. But for that, I just said, either it is Chahar, either it is Shardul Thakur, either it's new guy Venkatesh Iyer. You need to give them a confidence. You need to give them a proper bowling in the match, and you need to tell them and you need to give them a proper mindset and tell them this is your role in the Indian team right now, and we want you to work hard on it, and we will definitely support you. And so I guess for the with batting lineup, I personally feel KL, Rohit, and with white ball, I'm talking about KL, Rohit, Virat, Rishabh Pant, and Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav. They're going to do very well, and especially in coming these series. But I personally feel the sixth bowling option and someone with Jadeja or Ashwin at 6 or 7 number batting position, who's going to bowl little bit like either Venkatesh Iyer or either Chahar or Shardul. But you need to give them a little long run, but you have to clarify their role. They need to know we are in the team to do this, to this role, because sometimes what happen, you are batting all rounder, bowling all rounder, sometimes players also don't know. I have seen those some players that they also don't know their roles. So I personally feel the way Chahar other day played, and you need to know one thing more. If we're playing T20 World Cup in Australia, I personally feel Chahar is very good bowling option in the overseas conditions, because where ball moves little bit, ball skids little bit. You need to know what kind of bowler do well in Asia, what kind of bowler will do overseas, because everyone has different action, different kind of bowling. So I personally feel Shardul and Deepak Chahar has a very bright future. And in coming to the Test cricket, definitely you need to have those five bowlers. As Raja sir said, we want Ashwin and Jadeja to rule definitely in India, but I personally feel our spinner has to be a attacking option even going to the overseas tour. And because when you look at throw ball to the dam, doesn't just not to stop the runs, also to take wickets. So definitely those Jadeja, even Akshar Patel, we don't have to forget him. You also can play him if these two guys, sometime injured or some other bad form. But I personally feel we have a all the all players, but I personally feel that uh, Pujara, Rahane, these are the two players. Even I remember Pujara played couple of crucial knocks in England. He also played, I guess, scored 50 in South Africa. But for them also, it's very important to score runs, because when openers gets out, you look up to these two guys who one has played 95 test matches, other one has played more than 80 test matches. So definitely we need to sort out their forms. They need to go to the domestic cricket, as Raja sir said. If it happens, Ranji Trophy happens, they need to score there and then come back to the Indian side, because I personally Shreyas Iyer scored a brilliant 100 in Kanpur. After that, he didn't play in South Africa, played 2 matches in India. And, so these couple of things, these are the things. Maybe Rahul Bhai just took over the team. He had 5 test matches as a coach and one day series as a coach. So I personally feel there are lot out of these 8-9 matches, but I definitely think as a Rahul Bhai is working with the team, so he will sort out these problems which he have seen already. But one more thing which I definitely want to talk, because it's very close to my heart, that being a Ishan Sharma, he also needs to give the proper communication what his role going to be going to the future. Because if
Right.
someone plays 100 test matches, it's a very big thing, and he needs to have that proper communication from here. What his role is going to be with the Indian team. So these are the couple of things. But I hope in coming months, in coming series, we will see better cricket from our
Thank you,
boys.
VRV. Very well said again. I'm going to pose a very important question to you both, the last one now, because we're running out of time, but we have about 4 or 5 minutes to discuss this, both of you. IPL is the elephant in the room. While a series is on, we have some action going on in the IPL auction, some new team announced. The players are confused as far as I can see. Young players definitely are confused. Where does their future lie? Is it the IPL or is it India? Do they care? So it's a very different era. VRV has played IPL also, but first I'm going to Rajaramanji just with this question. What can we do about the IPL? If the Ranji Trophy is going to be cancelled and the IPL is going to be held, then where is the priority? Where are we headed?
I think that question itself is hides the answer, Vivek. If you're not going to give red ball cricket any priority in this country, I don't know when last we played red ball cricket in India, first class domestic cricket. You need to bring it back. You want to do it in a zonal system like in the past. Have all the north zone teams play in maybe in Dharamshala, have all the east zone teams play maybe in Kolkata. Maybe make a separate northeast zone where the northeastern teams, apart from Assam, can continue to play. Assam can join the East Zone teams. You have zonal based cricket. If you're serious about it, you will find ways in which to organize red ball cricket. When you get that back, you will find the players. You see, Virat has set a great example of being a test cricketer, of somebody who stands up for test cricket. I think there are a number of cricketers who want to do well in test cricket, but they have seen that IPL is an entry route into the Indian team. And because of that, I think IPL has taken precedent. I think back in 2009, when there was a recession around the world, I did one small Facebook post which I said IPL is recession resistant. And see where it has come now. It has come to dominate world cricket, not just Indian cricket, it's come to dominate world cricket. People in when England loses the Ashes miserably, there is reference to IPL. Uh, Everything that happens, there is reference to IPL. So IPL has got. We have to accept it, Vivek. There is no running away from that elephant in the room, as you pointed out. You got to accept it. Just as I have accepted that all cricket is now entertainment, and that is probably why cricketers go to stump mics and have conversations that they're not supposed to have. It is part of the entertainment, is how I take it anymore now.
Yeah. Well said, VRV, IPL. What do we do about it?
See, for me, definitely, as Raja sir said, definitely we need to have that Ranji Trophy, because from last 2 years, even when last time Ranji Trophy happened, I was coach of Chandigarh and we played our last game in Kolkata.
And you
I
did
remember
very well, VRV. I must say on
and
record, you did very well.
yeah, and that was in Feb, and final was played between Saurashtra and I forget the other team, first week of March. So it's been a couple of years now. So definitely Ranji needs to be there, and I personally feel for the overall character, even mentally, physically, you need tested in that. And Ranji Trophy is important. Red ball cricket and any sort. And you see, for me, even Test cricket gives you a lot of excitement. We just saw in a 3 match series, where ball was definitely doing a lot, and even the batsmen who had a skills, they did also well. So, but IPL here, it has also has their own charm. So definitely, it has given a lot of white ball cricketers to Indian cricket. So, but I won't say that I will not compare both competitions, but I will definitely say red ball cricket needs to be there, and because if we lose out every year, then for those the upcoming talent and the people who has been relying on the red ball cricket or on the domestic cricket, either it's financially, either it's some other ways. So it need to be happen, because players I have seen talking to me a lot about red ball cricket, when it's going to happen. And so I personally feel that red ball cricket for going forward to the test cricket. And as Raja sir said, Virat Kohli already has set a great example as a test cricket lover, and he played with a lot of aggression. And we need to have those kind of characters coming forward to the Indian cricket. But it will only happen if Ranji Trophy cricket will happen in India. Of course, these are the difficult times because of COVID. But definitely we need to find that space, or maybe when we don't, after IPL, maybe it's a very hot time, or hot summers on that time. But we need to have Ranji Trophy to find going forward to the test cricket and looking those youngsters during that tournament.
Very well
If
said,
you don't,
VRV. You are
sorry,
a test
Vivek.
cricket was great IPL.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Vivek.
Raja sir.
If you
Go ahead.
don't have red ball cricket, वो बोलते हैं ना, न रहेगी बांस न बजेगी बांसुरी. If you don't have Ranji Trophy, you're not going to find Test cricketers anymore.
I
Definitely
totally
right.
agree.
Definitely
I totally I like VRV's suggestion. If there is a window before the monsoon, we should play Ranji even in the heat. Players do play hot weather tournaments earlier also. Nowadays they're a bit namby-pamby, but we'll give them extra nimbu pani. I'm sure they can play. The point is that the players need to play the longer format. VRV will probably watch more Test cricket than IPL and even one days. And I'm sure VRV and other players who have played for India are more proud of their Test career and having played Test cricket than any other cricket. So with that, we have to call it a day. We love cricket. We have talked cricket. We have covered a lot of topics of Indian cricket. But I think we'll be back for some more. It is a wonderful team that we seem to have in the Combox here or in the Playwright Foundation studio. So thank you very much, Rajaramanji and VRV. Any last one sentence, last ball from each of you? VRV?
Just one thing, like Raja sir said, because Raja sir covered us during our Ranji Trophy career, and so definitely I will come again to the red ball cricket. That motivation needs to come back to the cricket, and I'm also waiting to see who will score how many runs, 1,000 runs, like we have seen so many cricketers from Chandigarh, Delhi, Karnataka, and Bombay from so many years. And I'm looking forward for that. Who's going to be a next Test cricket great?
Absolutely, Rajaji.
Enjoy the cricket, whatever cricket comes the way. Don't take yourself too seriously. I'm telling myself, don't take yourself too seriously, because sometimes it hurts because your expectations are high, and when they don't match, you get hurt. But above all, I think be safe and be
Thank
healthy.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was easy to call VRV, but I think I called you about 4 different things. Mr. Rajaraman, Rajaramanji, Raja sir, he said, so I also said Rajaji. So you are an all-rounder and he's a fast bowler, of course. So.
And one more thing, even in my name, there is a Raj, Vikram Raj.
There is also Raj. Of course, there is Raj. Yes. And you and I are V also, na? V.
And I suspect if we do some deep research, we will find Vivek Raj also.
Yeah, that's
My
the
uncle is known as
He is
Raj,
actually
and
the Raj.
my mama
He is the Raj here.
Yes. Thank you very much. Great
Thank you.
conversation.
Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day.
And see you soon again.
See
Thank you. Okay, sir.
Thank you, VRV.